Good evening, everyone. We almost completed the concept of transcription just last week, and video is uploaded in the link. Just for connection, I am once again reminding you that we are going through the part called protein synthesis. In protein synthesis, the whole process is divided into transcription and translation. So in transcription part, we observed that how a copy of the genetic information present in the DNA is copied into messenger RNA that we study in transcription part. We completed the process. We compared the transcription of prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes. Now the next thing that we are expected to do is we were going through the post-transcriptional modification. Okay, so in post-transcriptional modification, which exclusively occur in case of eukaryotes, this modification is essentially occurring in case of eukaryotes. We studied two modifications. Can anyone tell me what are the two modifications that was observed in case of eukaryotic post-transcriptional modification? Class? Kausha, can I hear from you?
Yes, ma'am.
So what were the post-transcriptional modification, beta?
Ma'am, I don't know.
Okay, so Dish raised the hand. Yes, Dish.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the two modification which you have studied, मतलब आपने समझाया था last time is the in nucleus RNA polymerase 1, 2, and 3.
That's not called modification, Dish. Somewhere down the line, that part is not understood. No problem. Gia is raising hand. Yes, Gia?
Ma'am, capping and like
Yes. So there is presence of 5-methyl guanosine cap. Second post-transcriptional modification is addition of poly A tail. I told you, Dish, we discussed the 3 RNA polymerases and what are their function. But if they ask you anytime what are post-transcriptional modification, these are 3. That means the messenger RNA produced will have a 5-methyl guanosine cap in 5' direction, and in 3' direction it will have series of adenine. I also mentioned why this is required. Can any one of you tell me why it is required? Class? Okay, let me tell, no problem. Yes, Jia, बोलो.
मैम वो एक्चुअली जो अंदर की इंफॉर्मेशन है कुछ हो जाए तो वो इंफॉर्मेशन डिस्ट्रॉय ना हो जाए.
Great.
जो ए वाला पार्ट है वो
Great. One thing we need to understand in case of eukaryotes, the messenger RNA will be produced inside nucleus, and after production, it needs to reach to ribosome. And as I told you, in case of eukaryotes, the messenger RNA is monocistronic. Monocistronic means it has only one gene. It doesn't have group of gene. And this monocistronic messenger RNA will go to single ribosome only. So before it can reach to ribosome, it will be requiring some kind of protection. So this protection is nothing but the cap and the poly A tail. So that in between any exonuclease enzyme is there. First of all, exonuclease cannot act on 5-methyl guanosine cap because methyl group is not making exonuclease able to work on this messenger RNA sequence. Second thing is, even if it can work in 3' region and chew a few adenine, the main sequence of messenger RNA is protected. That's why these post-transcriptional modifications are very much important and are evidently present in eukaryotes. But that's not all, beta. Let me know first, you have any doubt in these two parts, beta? Any one of you? Class?
Can I repeat the question?
One person at a time. Yes. Repeat which part, beta? I need to repeat which part? Should I consider there is no doubt?
Ma'am, you last time added splicing. So what it is exactly?
That I'll tell. These two parts is clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So the third important thing that occur as post-transcriptional modification in eukaryotes is splicing. So what is this splicing? Now removal of unwanted part of DNA. If you can remember, I told you that in eukaryotic organisms, the amount of DNA is quite high. Okay, and all part of this DNA is not at all responsible for production of any kind of gene, or I can say that it's not responsible for production of effective product of protein synthesis. Okay, so as it's not all part is not required, so the unnecessary part needs to be removed. Otherwise, protein produced will be faulty one. So that removal of unnecessary part is called splicing. So what happens? There are RNAs called snRNA, or we can call them snRNP also. The full form is small nuclear ribonucleo they also call SNRPs. They have another name also, that is called catalytic RNA. They are very much special from the point of view of evolution. You know why? Generally, when I talk about replication of DNA, do you think DNA can make copies of it by its own? Class, what do you think? सिर्फ अगर एक डीएनए को छोड़ दिया जाए कि भाई तुम अपनी कॉपी बनाओ, कैन इट डू इट बाय इटसेल्फ? व्हाट डू यू थिंक क्लास?
No, ma'am.
It will be requiring other enzymes and proteins, isn't it? That is DNA polymerase, then SSP and helicase and others. These small ribonucleoprotein are actually RNA plus protein complex. That's why they have another name also, which is called ribozyme. That means RNA plus enzyme. So obviously these small nuclear RNAs are indicating that during course of evolution, the first nucleic acid that might have existed in Earth was these, because they are able to, as they have RNA part as well as enzyme part, they can replicate themselves very easily. And in terms of replication, all of you know that RNA polymerase is more efficient, I can say. Why? It doesn't require primer. Okay. And apart from that, ribozyme is more developed. It is responsible for making copy of it independently. That's why there was a theory of RNA world, and scientists बोलते हैं कि जब evolution में बहुत साल पहले दुनिया में कुछ भी नहीं था, obviously the first organism created might be having ribozymes and RNA as a genetic material, not DNA. Presence of DNA as a genetic material is the symbol that the organism is more well developed. Understood this part? Class?
Yes, ma'am.
So now, let us understand from the point of view of splicing, what it is actually doing. As I told you, if you look into a DNA piece, it has both the intron and exon. So what are these introns and exons? Okay, so introns and exons, introns are the parts which are not required. These are the part doesn't code for protein. And exon is the part which can code for protein. So as all of us studied about mutation, we know that if these three introns are present, exons will have changed sequence and the amino acid produced will be a defective one. We don't want defective amino acid. So what we need to do? We need to remove the intron part. So how it is done? There is formation of spliceosome. What happens is exon part will be there, intron parts will form loops like this. So this is your one intron, this is exon, this is exon, this is your second intron, this is exon, and this is your third intron. Spliceosome is what? These catalytic RNA or ribozyme or SNRPs, they bind here with the introns. And what happens is once they bind, the structure is actually getting detached from here. And these catalytic RNAs will do what? They will take away with them the spliced parts. That means if you look into it, the catalytic RNA remove introns. So you can easily see that introns are removed, along with that the catalytic RNAs are associated. Now, can we leave exons like this only? Do you think it is feasible to leave exons like this, beta? Class,
No, ma'am.
what problem will be there, Yesha?
मैम मतलब इंट्रॉन्स को आपने पूछा कि इंट्रॉन्स को ऐसे ही रहने दे सकते हैं या नहीं?
Introns तो चले जाएंगे, they will get degenerated. That's not at all my headache because I don't want them.
Okay.
What about exons? Can we leave them like this?
मैम उनको ज्वाइन करने पड़ेंगे ना?
Very good. So that's why what will happen? There is an enzyme. Which enzyme is responsible for joining DNA? जो ओकाज़की fragment को join करता था replication में. What was name of that enzyme? Mishka, can you give me the name of enzyme which is responsible for joining the DNA part after replication? Shama, I can expect answer from you also.
I don't remember, ma'am.
You people are taking this chapter lightly, and it's suggested to study this along with the time I'm teaching you. Anyways, these chairs better.
DNA ligase.
So it is ligase. So ligase enzyme will do what? It will actually join all the exons and it will have only exons. So obviously the messenger RNA is this one. In case of eukaryotes, the first product of transcription is not messenger RNA. It is called hnRNA or heteronuclear RNA. So hnRNA contain both the intron as well as exon. But when introns are removed, you will get the actual messenger RNA which is ready to go for translation process. Now this messenger RNA can go for translation. So I will remind you people once again, this post-transcriptional modifications are present only and only in case of eukaryotes, not in prokaryotes. So you can mention them as a difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic transcription. So with this, we are done with transcription. Anyone, any doubt regarding whatever we learned last time and this time? Yes, Dish.
Ma'am, what are intervening sequences?
This is
I don't know the
intervening
meaning.
sequences, no? The continuity of the protein code is interrupted by presence of introns, no beta? That's why they are called intervening sequences.
Okay, ma'am.
So we will now see one video on splicing. And
Grammarly helps make your writing.
I guess the screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Here, let's talk about splicing. The transcription of eukaryotic gene results in the formation of pre-mRNA. The pre-mRNA have coding sequence and the non-coding sequence. The coding sequence are known as the exons, while the non-coding sequence are known as the introns. Splicing is a phenomenon in which introns are removed and the exons are joined together to form a mature mRNA. Before understanding how the splicing works, following are the terms that you should know. The part of intron towards the 5' end is known as the 5' splice site. The part of intron towards the 3' end is known as the 3' splice site. The exon towards the 5' end is known as the 5' exon, and the exon towards the 3' end is known as the 3' exon. The basic mechanism of splicing is simple. The phosphodiester bond between exon and intron at the 5' splice site is first broken, and the 3' hydroxyl group of the 5' exon reacts with the 3' splice site to complete the reaction. Now, depending on the sequence and the way in which splicing occurs, the introns are classified into two types: group 1 introns and group 2 introns. Let's see the splicing mechanism of group 1 introns. The group 1 intron folds itself in such a way that it can hold a guanine nucleotide. The guanine nucleotide is in its ribose form. The 3'OH group of the guanine nucleotide then reacts with the 5' splice site, and the guanine nucleotide finally attaches itself at the 5' end of the intron. This attachment of guanine nucleotide makes the 3'OH end of the 5' exon free. The 3'OH group of the exon then reacts with the 3' splice site. This joins the two exons and releases the intron, completing the splicing reaction. This splicing mechanism is also known as self-splicing mechanism, as no other proteins are involved. Let's say the splicing mechanism of group 2 introns. The splicing of group 2 introns can either occur by self-splicing mechanism or with the help of other proteins and RNA known as the spliceosome complex. Self-splicing of group 2 introns. The group 2 introns have an adenine residue present in its sequence. Remember, the group 1 intron uses a free guanine nucleotide for the reaction, but this is not the case in group 2 intron. It uses adenine which is present in the sequence itself. The 2'OH group of the adenine reacts with the 5' splice site and forms a loop-like structure known as the lariat. This reaction makes the 3'OH group of the 5' exon free. The 3'OH group of the exon then reacts with the 3' splice site, which releases the intron and completes the splicing mechanism. Now, besides cell splicing mechanism, the splicing of group 2 introns can also be mediated by other proteins and RNA, which is known as the spliceosome. This complex consists of 150 proteins and 5 RNAs known as small nuclear RNA or snRNAs. These 5 snRNAs are designated as U1, U2, U4, U5, and U6. Each of them can be 100 to 300 nucleotides long and are attached to several other proteins. These RNA protein complex is termed as snRNPs or SNRPs, small nuclear ribonuclear proteins, and all of them together carries out splicing reaction. Let's say the splicing mechanism carried out by the spliceosome. In the first step, the snRNP U1 binds the 5' splice site. Next, U2AF, also known as U2 auxiliary factor, binds the 3' splice site. U2AF further helps other protein, known as branch point binding protein, to bind the branch site. The branch point binding protein is further displaced by U2 snRNP at the branch site. When U2 binds the adenine at the branch site, the adenine bulges out. Next, U2AF is released and U2 snRNP further recruits U5, U4, and U6 snRNP. The U6 snRNP tries to occupy U1, hence U1 is released. The U6 then tries to interact with U2. During this interaction, U4 is released. The interaction between U6 and U2 triggers two reactions. First, there is a formation of loop or the lariat by 5' splice site and the adenine at the branch site. And second, there is a reaction between 5' splice site and 3' splice site, completing the splicing reaction.
So basically, you don't have to remember all the subunits and all. That much
Myntra
detailing,
Enterprises सेल अब live है. Myntra
that much detailing is not at all required in your case. But obviously, you need to understand the basic mechanism that how our snRNPs are responsible for removal of the introns from the genetic material of eukaryotes. Is there any doubt regarding any of this parts of transcription class?
मैम मतलब वो जो इंट्रॉन होगा वो 5' साइड से पहले अलग होगा.
इससे अलग होगा?
5' साइड होती है ना जो,
हाँ.
वहीं से अलग होगा.
हाँ.
ओके मैम.
Ma'am,
Yes, beta.
ma'am, so exons will appear in which RNA? Means it will appear in processed RNA or mature?
I didn't get your question. Can you please repeat once again, please?
Ma'am, exons will be there in RNA? Like
Yes.
it will be there in mature RNA?
In mature RNA. In mature RNA, only exons will be there, no introns will be there. I told you, no, whenever there is first production of RNA, that is called hnRNA. Okay, that hnRNA or nuclear RNA also we call it, is having a long size. Why? Because it contains both introns and exons. But once the process is done, the splicing process is done, then we will have messenger RNA. Each and RNA will be no longer existing. We don't
Okay, ma'am.
require this. Do you think what will happen? Chalo, let us understand from this point of view. Consider एक intron दो necessary exons के बीच में रह गया. What will be the effect? What will be the effect of that?
मैम मतलब इंट्रॉन्स तो वही होते हैं मतलब जिसका ज्यादा काम नहीं होता है तो
ज्यादा
उसका
नहीं
तो
काम नहीं बेटा, काम ही नहीं होता है.
तो मैम उसका तो कोई रोल ही नहीं होगा ना.
Let me tell you, just to remind you once again, if you must have studied in grade 11, that in case of protein, there are structural organizations called primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, and quaternary structure. Can you remember the structural organization of protein that you studied in grade 11? If not, then I suggest all of you that I completed already the chapter cell division and biomolecule in grade 11. So those videos are available. Search for it in the IM site and you can have a look into it. Nicely described biomolecules. Okay, and if you require, I can share the study material also. It is present in the form of a flow chart. So it will be very easy for you to remember. So actually what happens is the amino acid chain produces this trait. But proteins are not like this. They need to have a three-dimensional structure. If you studied about lock and key mechanism of enzyme, you have biomolecule chapter in grade 12 also. And I always teach, when I teach in grade 11, I tell कि अभी अच्छे से पढ़ लो, ये आपका bonus chapter होगा. So if a substrate need to bind with an enzyme, it needs to have a specific shape, isn't it? You must be knowing that in a cell there are marker proteins, there are receptor proteins, there are transport proteins. In all these cases, protein needs to have a specific structure which will act on lock and key mechanism. Have you studied it earlier about this class?
Yes, ma'am.
So this structure, even if it is altering a bit, for example, ये receptor का structure ऐसा हो गया, then there will not be proper fitting of this substrate on it. So structural condition of protein is very much important. So now what will decide कि ये जो मेरा linear structure of protein है, the line I have, how it is going to fold to give a 3D structure. It is decided by the amino acid sequences. How come? We know that amino acids are of various types, isn't it? So all these amino acids have hydrophilic, hydrophobic interaction between them. If two sulfur containing amino acids are there, they may have disulfide bond formation between them. There can be presence of hydrogen bonds between them. So it all depends on amino acid sequence. So consider if one sulfur containing amino acid is here and other one is here. So this amino acid chain will form loop like this, so that there can be bond formation between them. Okay. Now consider a situation if this sulfur containing amino acid is removed due to some reason. Do you think this loop formation is possible? In that case, there will not be loop formation in this case. Why? Because in absence of this sulfur containing amino acid, formation of disulfide linkage is not possible, na beta? So now imagine the situation that in a DNA, you have a long DNA where actually, let me draw it in this way. You have a long DNA where like intron is present in between. So the DNA sequence is supposed to be Consider A, T, C, G, G, C, C, T, A. And in between there is an intron, which is actually, let me tell you, C, C, A, T. So when there is formation of messenger RNA, the sequence will be this one U, A, G, C, G, G, U, A, C, G, G, A, U. So it is expected that there will be presence of this continuous part, which will decide the folding of amino acid chain. If it is present in between, don't you think there will be frame shift mutation? Yes or no? Yesha?
Ma'am, can you please repeat what you said?
If in between this is there, don't you think the reading frame will change?
Yes, ma'am.
So we require this part and this part. If this part is there, so amino acid, इससे जब amino acid बनेगा, consider from this the amino acid will be produced. How many amino acids? इन तीनों को मिलके 1, then इन तीनों को मिलके 1, 2, 3, 4 amino acids इसमें होंगे. Consider that. But if I am not having this part in between, तो sequence होगी UA, GC, CG, GAU. So how many amino acids will be there? 1, 2, and 3. Do you think the protein with 3 amino acids and the protein which is produced with 4 amino acids will be same? Can have same structural configuration? Is it possible?
No, ma'am.
So that means if intron stays, it will be a defective structure, no beta? That protein may be synthesized, but it will not be a functional protein. That is why it is very important to remove the introns. If introns are there, then the result will be non-functional protein and it's useless. Then that messenger RNA where introns are there is useless to us. जैसे
Ma'am, इससे कोई disorder
disorder तो definitely lots many disorder क्या you cannot leave if this process is not there. जैसे चावल मार्केट से खरीदने के बाद हम कंकड़ निकाल के फेंक देते हैं, वैसे ही इंट्रॉन्स निकाल के फेंक देना is required. You cannot go without it. Without removing intron, it's not possible.
तो मैम इंट्रॉन्स अगर प्रेजेंट रहे तो उससे कौन से डिसऑर्डर्स हो सकते हैं?
ऐसा कभी होता ही नहीं है. It's very rarely occurring. And even if it is present, it's not called disorder. The organism cannot survive it. There will be major change in DNA, isn't it? DNA to RNA copying, there will be major change. Organism cannot survive in such condition.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Dish?
मैम if the starting code is AUG then उसके बाद सारे G हो गए तो क्या होगा?
सभी कोड्स G हो गए थे.
Yes ma'am.
There will be formation of a typical structure which will never stop. ये protein synthesis जिंदगी भर चलेगी. Obviously after this I am going to teach you genetic code. You will know the way presence of AUG indicates start codon and it is required. Similar way there are 3 stop codons: UAG, UGA, UAA, UAG, and UGA. These are called also pet name: amber, ochre, and opal. So they are the position or the code which doesn't code for any amino acid. So when they come, protein synthesis stop. So if it is G through ever, the protein synthesis will never stop. and it's not possible. Non-functional organism will be produced.
Okay, ma'am.
Very valid questions, and it's really pleasure, huh, beta, when you ask question while teaching. So can we move towards the like next part of our lecture, that is genetic code?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So genetic code is something which is a very, very important discovery. It's a breakthrough. The way discovery of like coding for hieroglyphic was a milestone, जिससे हम हिस्ट्री के, स्पेशली इजिप्शियन हिस्ट्री के बहुत सारे राज को जान पाए. सेम इज विथ जेनेटिक कोड. ओके, सो व्हाट इज दिस? ये क्या है? बेसिकली genetic code is something in which we are actually going for the translation process. जैसे एक डिक्शनरीज होती है, पता है, लाइक आई व्हेन आई यूज्ड टू स्टडी बीएड, no English medium notes were available, so we used to use English to Gujarati dictionary. So what is this dictionary? This says that this word means this in English. For example, there is a Gujarati word called tak. What is the meaning of tak? Okay, so same thing is occurring there. अगर मैं बंगाली बोलना चालू कर दूं, so you need to sit with a Bengali dictionary. आप सोचोगे कि क्या बोल रही है लोग, you will not be able to understand. So you will refer to the word I spoke. Like we in Gujarati you say केम छो, हम बंगाली में बोलते हैं कैमो नाचो. So you need to search in that dictionary. Camon means kaise, acho means home. So camon acho means kem cho in Gujarati. So this is what is called translation, and it was a big channel by like for the scientists to code it, क्योंकि ये कोई language तो है नहीं. It's all about the micromolecules. And you cannot see them, they cannot speak. वो भी ऐसा नहीं कि आप बिठा के चलो एक चाइनीज इंसान की भाषा 10 दिन सुनो, एक दो शब्द पता चले. So how to code their language? So like it's a dictionary they need to develop, जिसमें हर न्यूक्लिक एसिड्स की कोड होनी चाहिए. So this term was given by George Gamow. But the remarkable discovery were like it was the initiation, जिसे हम बोलते हैं रिबन काटना. It was done by like Francis Crick and Watson, and like Gamow said that there is a 3-letter code. Now question ये है कि इन्होंने 3-letter code है कैसे निकाला? Why it is not 1-letter code? Why it is not 2-letter code? Okay, let's understand from the point of view of Gamow. It was very easy, not so very easy, but comparatively easier to understand that it must be a 3-letter code. How many amino acids are there? Proteinogenic amino acids. Class? How many? Yes, beta. It is 20. Okay. Now, how many types of nucleotides or nitrogenous bases we have? In DNA, how many types of nitrogenous bases we have?
5 types.
DNA, beta.
4.
Purines and pyrimidines.
So that means adenine. Let me like D ATP. Let me write this way because I mentioned nucleotides over here. D GTP, D CTP, and D TTP. In this case, we will not consider uracil because uracil is not adding any variation. Only differences in RNA in place of thymine, it is uracil. So it is never possible कि in a structure 5 of them are present together. So any time at a point, अगर DNA है तो भी 4 टाइप के न्यूक्लियोटाइड्स होंगे, अगर RNA है तो भी 4 ही टाइप के होंगे, 5 टाइप के at a time it's not possible for them to be present. So obviously genetic code 1 letter के तो नहीं हो सकते हैं? ये 4 लेटर्स को यूज करके कैन यू कोड फॉर 20 अमीनो एसिड्स क्लास?
No, ma'am.
आर यू गेटिंग व्हाट आई एम सेइंग? मुझे 20 अमीनो एसिड्स के लिए अलग अलग कोड देनी है। तो अगर जेनेटिक कोड कंसीडर करो, मान लो कि सिंगल न्यूक्लियोटाइड विल कोड फॉर वन अमीनो एसिड, तो एटीपी समझो एक अमीनो एसिड 1 को कोड कर रहा है, ये अमीनो एसिड 2 को कर रहा है, ये अमीनो एसिड 3 को कर रहा है, ये अमीनो एसिड 4 को कर रहा है। व्हाट अबाउट बाकी 16 अमीनो एसिड्स? नॉट पॉसिबल टू हैव सेम कोड, नो, अदरवाइज देयर विल बी कंफ्यूजन। यस और नो?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
तो ये तो चलने वाला नहीं है। दैट मीन्स इट इज वेरी क्लियर कि जेनेटिक कोड इज नॉट एट ऑल यूनिलेटर। तो अब दूसरा ऑप्शन क्या आता है? क्या 2 लेटर से बने हुए हैं? सो व्हाट आर द नंबर ऑफ कॉम्बिनेशंस इफ वी हैव कंसीडर्ड 2 लेटर्स? जैसे कि समझो AG, G, AT, T, ऐसे करके अगर हम कंसीडर करें, so the number of combinations that we will get is equal to 4 to the power 2. कितना होता है?
16.
How many amino acids are there?
20.
Is it enough?
No, ma'am.
तो इससे पता चल रहा है कि अब नेक्स्ट ऑप्शन क्या बचता है कि इट मस्ट बी अ ट्रिपलेट कोड। ट्रिपलेट कोड मतलब AUG। So once again I will tell you 4 to the power 3. What? How many will be the value?
64.
How many amino acids we have?
20.
तो इससे हमें क्या पता चल रहा है? What we will get is कि out of these 64 codons, one is AUG, that is start codon. 3 are stop codons, that is UAA, UGA, and UAG. These are called stop codon. मतलब इनके लिए कोई भी अमीनो एसिड नहीं है। लैंग्वेज जो हमारी प्रोटीन वाली लैंग्वेज है उसमें जहां UAA आ जाएगा उसके लिए कोई भी अमीनो एसिड है नहीं। तो अमीनो एसिड है नहीं, प्रोटीन सिंथेसिस वहीं पे स्टॉप हो जाएगी। दैट्स व्हाई दे आर कॉल्ड स्टॉप कोडन। फिर भी कितने बचे हमारे पास? 60। इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि देयर विल बी मोर देन वन कोड फॉर अ सिंगल अमीनो एसिड। ऐसा हो सकता है कि एक अमीनो एसिड है जिसके लिए मोर देन वन कोड इज पॉसिबल, बट दैट इज हाउ दे like proved mathematically के genetic code must be triplet. Everyone got this part, beta? Anyone any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so let's move ahead. After like this breakthrough proposal of George Gamow, the problem is not at all solved. Why? Because it was said that 64 codes are there, but we need to identify like what are these codes. That means what sequence of nucleotide will code for which amino acid. So this part was done by scientist. His name was Hargobind Khorana. Obviously, there were other people in the team, and but he was one of the most important part of this team. They actually identified the codes by using very interesting pattern. They created the messenger RNAs. कंसिडर करो एक मैसेंजर आरएनए क्रिएट किया गया, जैसे कि दीश बोल रहा था ना, जिसमें शुरुआत में AUG है, लास्ट में UAA है, which is the stop codon, or even they have sequences like U, and they observed how protein synthesis is processing in case of this. You can understand putting messenger RNA inside cell mechanism from outside and getting the protein synthesis done was a difficult job. And they used to note down कि अगर सिर्फ सारे अगर U है तो फिर कौन सी अमीनो एसिड वहां पे आ रहे हैं. तो समझो सारे अगर U है तो फिर वहां पे जो अमीनो एसिड का नंबर आ रहा है, they note it down. That means code for that amino acid is U. Similarly, GGG, AAA, CCC. Up now they start with different combination. They started with AGG. इसमें कौन सा amino acid produce होता है? So it took like years to decode the genetic code. Okay, and the result is this like table where you can see that for phenylalanine UUU and UUC is there. For leucine 4 codes are there. Isoleucine 3. For methionine only 1 is there because it is the start codon. Or हम में या prokaryotes, that means bacteria में, bacteria have formyl methionine, which is a version of methionine only. Everywhere the first amino acid of protein is methionine because it is coded by the start codon AUG. Then these are codes for valine and all. So you can see that other than methionine, every amino acid, methionine and tryptophan, rather to say, every amino acid is having more than one genetic code. And highest number of genetic codes are present in case of these amino acids like leucine, serine, proline, threonine, alanine, arginine, and glycine. Is this table understood to all of you? Don't worry, you don't have to remember it. No one is going to ask you कि भाई CAU code for which amino acid. They will never. Three things you need to remember. These three are AUG, UAA, UAG, and UGA. You need to remember these 4 codes. That's all. So let us see that the words are called codons, and these are the parts we already discussed, that 3 are stop. So there are sense codon and signal codon. Sense codons are 60 in number because they like code for amino acid. And signal codons में से जो start codon होता है, that code for amino acid, but it's a signal that protein synthesis will start here. And stop codons are also signal codon. Further signal codons can be subdivided into terminating codon, that is UAA, UAG, and UGA, and initiation codon, that is AUG. So what is this codon and anticodon concept? See, this part I will roughly say here. I will explain and expand it when we will have a discussion on translation. Messenger RNA is having a language of nucleotide. So how amino acids will understand that? I told you when I taught you the structure of transfer RNA, clover leaf model, if you can remember when I was teaching you structure of DNA and RNA. So this clover leaf model is having one loop called anticodon loop. अब समझो यहाँ कोडॉन है in messenger RNA, the codon is AUG. It is the codon. अब जैसे ये कोडॉन आएगा ट्रांसफर आरएनए जिसकी सीक्वेंस UAC होगा वो यहाँ बाइंड हो सकता है। क्या दूसरी कोई ट्रांसफर आरएनए यहाँ बाइंड हो सकती है कि नहीं हो सकती बेटा? This is my messenger RNA and this is my transfer RNA. So as per law of complementary nature of nucleic acid, this will be binding and it will have methionine carried over here. तो ये ट्रांसफर आरएनए का निश्चित रहता है कि as per the anticodon, this is called anticodon. As per the anticodon, amino acid is added. For example, अगर यहाँ पे कोड अगर जेनेटिक कोड ऐसा है कि it is coding for histidine, what I can say, histidine, then यहाँ पे उसकी एंटीकोडॉन रहेगी और ट्रांसफर आरएनए में यहाँ पे हिस्टिडीन रहेगा. So this is how codon and anticodons interact to make the translation, that is from nucleotide to amino acid language clear. Is this part clear to everyone? Codon and anticodon we will discuss in detail later on. So we need to now see the characteristics of genetic code. The characteristics are as follows. First of all, it's a triplet code. We all know that it is a triplet code. We know that it is comma-less code. This we studied in frame shift mutation. हमने क्या पढ़ा था कि अगर consider करो if like we have A, T, C, G, C, C. अगर ये C को मैं यहाँ से उड़ा दूं, as it doesn't have any comma or full stop in between, अगर comma होता तो क्या होता? कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं होती, A, T गैप आ जाता और G, C, C होता. But no gap is there, no comma, full stop, nothing is there. इसीलिए क्या होता है, ये जीन क्या होती है, ये यहाँ पे आ जाती है. And the sequence is changed to A, T, G and C, C. So obviously this shows that it is comma less. So is it clear that why genetic code is comma less? Class?
Yes, ma'am.
अगर कॉमा लेस नहीं होता तो उसमें कभी भी फ्रेम शिफ्ट म्यूटेशन नहीं होता. ओके, नेक्स्ट इज नॉन ओवरलैपिंग कोड. नॉन ओवरलैपिंग कोड इसकी एक्चुअली एक्सेप्शन है. इन सम वेरी स्मॉल ऑर्गेनिजम्स इट मे बी ओवरलैपिंग, बट जनरली इट इज नॉन ओवरलैपिंग. मतलब व्हाट डू वी मीन बाय नॉन ओवरलैपिंग? मतलब अगर एक डीएनए है, ऐसा नहीं होता है कि अगर इसका कोड ATC CGA TT ये मेरी जीन नंबर 1 है, दूसरी जीन मेरी स्टार्ट हो रही है ये जीन नंबर 2 है. नॉन ओवरलैपिंग मीन्स इट शुड नॉट बी हैविंग कॉमन सीक्वेंस. अगर ये ओवरलैपिंग होता तो समझो यहां से लेके यहां तक इसका जीन 1 होता और ये AT would have been common between gene 1 and 2. It is non-overlapping. But as I told you, when you will go in higher grades, you will learn that in some rarely, very rarely in some lower organisms, क्योंकि उनकी cells इतनी छोटी होती है बेटा, they cannot manage so much DNA content. तो उनके केस में there may be some overlapping code. This concept of overlapping, I guess, is clear. So now the coding dictionary. Coding dictionary means there should be a proper dictionary of coding where it is very like easily understood. So it's a triplet code. Next is it is universal. अगर AUG मिथियोनिन को कोड करेगा तो ये बैक्टीरिया में भी करेगा, फंगस में भी करेगा, मैंगो ट्री में भी करेगा, बरगद की ट्री में भी करेगा, ह्यूमन में भी करेगा, छिपकली में भी करेगा. It is same for everyone. So that's why it is said that genetic code is universal. Non-ambiguous, that means one codon cannot specify for more than one amino acid. मतलब ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है, ऐसा हो सकता है कि for single amino acid more than one codon is there. But ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि more than one amino acid is coded by single codon. Otherwise there will be confusion. अगर मैं AUG में मिथियोनिन को कोड कर रही हूँ तो मिथियोनिन को ही कोड करूंगी, लाइसिन और हिस्टिडीन और आइजिडीन कैन नॉट बी कोड बाय AUG, but histidine can have 4 codes. There is no problem, but those 4 codes will be exclusively there for histidine only. That is called non-ambiguous. Non-overlapping I always already explained. It is continuously from a speak starting point. There is no punctuation is there, neither comma, full stop, nothing. Now, code is having a polarity. That is a very valid point. You know that a protein, if is produced like this, if it is starting from this point and amino acids are added accordingly, there is one meaning. And if it is starting from this point and amino acids are added accordingly, there is another meaning. अब आप यहाँ पे it is very easy for you to tell, मैम इसमें क्या फर्क पड़ता है, भले TAT से स्टार्ट हो या AUG से स्टार्ट हो, but बेटा we need to remember कि end में stop codon रहता है which does not code for any kind of amino acid. इसीलिए जब भी genetic code को पढ़ा जाता है for a specific protein, it always start with AUG and end with the stop codon. हम उल्टी साइड से स्टार्ट नहीं कर सकते. So that is why code has a polarity. AUG अगर है तो it will code for methionine. अगर उल्टी तरफ से पढ़ना स्टार्ट करूं तो AUG will turn into GUA. Then it will not code for methionine. Understood? Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
मीनिंग ही चेंज हो जाएगा पूरा. कैट और टैक का मीनिंग अलग होता है. सो हियर इज लाइक they are talking degeneracy. That means for proline there may be four codes, but CCU will code always for proline. It cannot be code for any other amino acids. So next part is global hypothesis. This was proposed by Code. In this he said that the codon anticodon pairing में काफी बार ऐसा होता है कि first 2 amino acids are more important. For example, जब transfer RNA is binding with the like messenger RNA, I told you, अगर messenger RNA में AUG है, transfer RNA should be having UAC. But हमेशा ऐसा नहीं होता है. Many a times it is observed that initial 2 nucleotides will be complementary. but the third one is not. This is called Wobble hypothesis. Wobble hypothesis says that the first two are complementary to each other. Third one may not be complementary. Okay. Then also as first two can have a proper binding, then that is sufficient for the addition of correct nucleotide. So this is how actually the flow of genetic information is there from DNA to RNA and RNA to protein. Nicely depicted in these pictures. So types of mutation too we already discussed, so I am not discussing over here. So with this we are completed with the genetic code. Next day, that is Wednesday, we will first discuss with the doubts of those questions I circulated. So I humbly request all of you to go through it and solve it. Vishwajit sir already circulated in the group long ago. And if anyone have any doubt, we can discuss it over here. Please do not think कि मैम तो बोल देगी हम लिख लेंगे done. You require like practice for your brain. Okay, so that's all from my side for today. Anyone any question? Yes, Dish, follow.
मैम so we have to remember only start code and stop code. फिर बीच में
Yes,
कोई
yes.
भी कोड डाल सकते हैं.
बीच में कोई भी कोड हो सकता है. Generally they never ask. मतलब no question comes that way. You have to remember and put the particularly for specific amino acid.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Yesha.
मैम आरएनए में टी क्यों नहीं हो सकता, यूरेसिली क्यों होता है?
It's there. There is no specific reason for it. आरएनए ने हमारे लिए वेट नहीं किया ना बनाने की. It is present in the nature. There is no specific reason for it.
ओके मैम.
Maybe this is the way they want to be different from DNA.
ओके मैम.
Anything else, anyone? So if not, then let me conclude.